earth, we'll all still hold on for life, because as long as there's life, we find there is hope. If this is true of most persons, how much more true would it be of Jehovah's Witnesses? Because not only do we have the present life to hold on to and to live for, but we hold on to the hope of everlasting life. Because Jesus promised us in Romans the 6th chapter that the reward God would give would be everlasting life. So we have a strong desire and instinct to want to survive and pursue it, and to eventually realize paradisaic conditions in God's new order. But in this run for life, some of us looking forward to a change in this old system and its destruction for many years now, there are some of us who get a little weary and a little tired. And sometimes we just want to throw our hands up and say, I just don't know if I can go on any further. But just like a runner, when he's running a course and he gets near to the end, just about the time when he thinks he just can't go on any further, he realizes, well, there's the goal ahead of him. He's come around the last lap, and there it is. Well, all of a sudden he just seems to get some reserve power from nowhere, and with a sudden surge of energy, on he goes to break the finish line rope and win the prize. Well, now, as Jehovah's Witnesses, as runners, even though some of us have become a little weary, it almost seems as though Jehovah has provided meat in due season, because he's held up before all of us a new goal, a new year, something to reach out for, and it just seems it's given all of us so much more energy and power in this final burst of speed to the finish line. And that's the year 1975. There's been a lot of talk about the year. In fact, even this week, some individuals have been wondering, well, what does it mean? Or do we dare talk about it? Is it something we can discuss among ourselves, even though we might not talk about it too much in public? Do we really know what it means? Well, we don't have to guess what the year 1975 means if we read the Watchtower, because the Watchtower has been very explicit as to what the year 1975 means for us. If you wish to write down the page 262 in the 1967 issue of the Watchtower, we read, what does the year 1975 mean for humankind? The end of 6,000 years of human existence, and possibly the time when God executes the wicked and starts off a 1,000-year reign under his Son, Jesus Christ. Unquote. What did it say? The end of 6,000 years of human existence, and that's all? No. It gave us a little more to think about there. Did it say for certainty the time when God executes the wicked and starts off the 1,000-year reign by Jesus Christ? No. But it did give us a glimmer of light. It says possibly the time when God executes the wicked and starts off the 1,000-year reign of his Son, Jesus Christ, 1975. Doesn't that give you a little bit of excitement about the future? Even if there is the possibility that that's it, when God will bring the battle of Armageddon and clean this whole earth off, and you'll be ushered right into a paradise earth forevermore, never again to be afflicted with this satanic old system of things. It will be gone down. Well, it should excite all of us. There are the skeptics who say, well, I'm not going to think about it and not worry about it, not even going to pay attention to it. Well, now remember, brothers, the faithful and discreet slave is used by Jesus Christ to do what? Jesus says to provide meat in due season. This is meat, and it's come at the right time, and it's in its due season, and it's not wrong to think about it and to look forward to it. As far as knowing for sure, well, we know what we know for sure. We just read it. The end of 6,000 years of human history, and possibly the execution of the wicked in the beginning of the 1,000-year reign. And that should be exciting enough and talk enough for us. When you think about it, what a fantastic short span of time that is. How many of you here were in New York City in 1958? Would you hold up your hands? Great majority of you here. Where's the time gone since then? Just seemed like yesterday we were there. But do you realize that more time has passed away since that assembly in 1958, where 250,000 of Jehovah's Witnesses gathered, than what is left to 1975? Hard to imagine, isn't it? Yes, that was 9 years ago. It's only 8 years to 75. How little time there is left. How much to happen. We just wait now with everlasting life in view, and we serve with the future unveiling in front of us. Very soon now we wait for Babylon the Great to be turned upon and severely scathed and destroyed and decimated to where there's nothing left of her. And then the cry, peace and safety. We finally got rid of the old harlot. She's off our back. No more religion to bother us, the nations say. But there they are, rearing their ugly heads up above the dust. Jehovah's Witnesses. Now with a message more fierce than has ever been heard before. Now with a taunt song to the nations. You see, we told you Babylon the Great was going down, was going to be destroyed. You said it would never happen, but you did it yourself. Now you're next. Jehovah will destroy you. You think they're going to like that? That's when they all combine, all the communistic and democratic powers together, with one objective in mind: wipe out those people. And then truly we'll be rid of all antagonists and have peace and safety, and we'll have our unified world. But when they begin to attack Jehovah's Witnesses, strange things begin to happen. It seems to be calamities are brought by Jehovah God in a fierce and horrifying way, as though they've never seen things of this nature before. Flesh-eating plagues are mentioned by Zechariah that will sweep this earth, rot the eyes out of the sockets and the tongues out of the mouths. They'll run screaming out of their houses with this striking them, and yet they'll see Jehovah's Witnesses are untouched. I want to get in now. Let me be one of you. It's too late now. And then Jehovah God seems to bring the natural forces against this old system. Terror on air, in land and in the sea. Fratricidal warfare, neighbor against neighbor. Every unhuman, inhumane thing that could occur not only from men, but even from natural forces. And Armageddon seems to have two phases now. The latest Watchtower brought out, if you've read it, where it says, is there such a thing as a just war? Phase 1. All the united efforts among the nations destroyed. All political organization gone. All that's left are the kings standing by themselves without an ally or friend in the world. All super suspicious of each other. All standing there tense. Phase 2. Jehovah strikes confusion into their hearts. And in the mad fury and flurry, they turn on each other, destroying one another. And what is left then, Jehovah God calls the supernatural angels and the cavalry of Jesus Christ to close in on them. 200 million angels with all their destructive power. And what a power that's going to be. One angel in one night, when the Syrian forces of Sennacherib came against Israel, destroyed 185,000 soldiers. Let's say that the 200 million angels of Jesus Christ are limited in power and they can only destroy 185,000. That will give them the potential to destroy 37 trillion persons. There aren't near that many on the earth. In fact, that's 12,333 times the number of people even alive. All that power wrapped up in the cavalry of Jesus Christ. And all of that possibly has to happen and be finished within the year 1975. Exciting years ahead of us. And then look beyond that, the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ. You know what that means? All the dead being brought back. Just think of the dear ones you've lost maybe in the last 5 or 10 years. Don't you look forward to seeing them coming back? Well, it won't be long now. Look at what's ahead. You think you're going to mind having to work with the crops and the land when you find out that your loved one's going to come back and you have to plant a little extra for them? You think you're going to mind when you're notified maybe a little in advance that you need some shelter, that you're going to have to build it on for your loved one as temporary living quarters when they come back? Just think what it's going to be like when the family is notified it's time and you all gather there waiting and you see them rise up out of the dust. Like Isaiah says, awake you in the dust, you residents. Come alive. Think you're going to mind seeing that? That's our future. What a wonderful one. The resurrection is something to stagger the imagination with immensity. When it comes to the number that will be back, we don't know for sure, but some comments have been made by the Society that could give some idea. You may want to make note of these references, read them later. Things in which it's impossible for God to lie, paragraph 12, page 350. Billions who died before Jesus, billions who died since will be back. Latest publication, Life Everlasting and Freedom of the Sons of God, page 393, paragraph 26, thousands of millions. The Watchtower, 1964, page 722, paragraph 24. And listen to this. Tens of billions will be back. How many are tens of billions? Well, at least 20 billion. Because to have tens of billion in the plural, you have to have 2 sets of 10 billions. So it's a very minimum figure. Let's say even 20 billion coming back. What a fantastic accomplishment that's going to be for our Lord Jesus Christ. In fact, there was a tract one time printed by the Society called Millennial Hope Explained, where it mentioned an estimated 20 billion would be back in the resurrection. Could be. Just gives you an idea. It fires the imagination. Do you realize what an accomplishment and what an undertaking that's going to be? Why, if just 20 billion were brought back from the dead every day for 1,000 years, they'd have to bring back 60,000. Every day for 1,000 years. Of course, it most likely won't take the whole 1,000 years the Society has indicated. We don't know how long the resurrection will take, but that'll probably squeeze the number up to where possibly even more would be coming back. What a thrilling time we have to live for, my brothers. How much we have to gain by serving God with everlasting life in view. But you know the sad part of it? There are going to be some of us here who won't see it. Possibly. Wouldn't that be an awful thing? With all of that in the future, some of us here tonight may not live to see it. Will you? You know there's a way to find out? There's a way to decide right here and now whether you'll make it or whether you will not. Let us see what that is. Turning to Luke the 13th chapter, we get some information on it. In Luke 13, let's begin to read Jesus' words. 13, starting with the 22nd verse. Now Jesus is going village to village and city to city. In verse 23 it says, Now a certain man said to him, Lord, are those who are going to be saved few? He said to them, Exert yourselves vigorously to get in through the narrow door, because many, I tell you, will seek to get in, but will not be able. When once the householder has got up and locked the door, and then you start to stand outside and to knock at the door saying, Sir, open to us. In answer, he'll say to you, I do not know where you're from. Then you will start saying, Well, we ate and drank in front of you, and you taught in our broad ways. But he will speak and say to you, I don't know where you're from. Get away from me, all you workers of unrighteousness. There is where your weeping and the gnashing of your teeth will be. What's Jesus saying here? What would you think he's saying here? Well, first of all, those of us here tonight that do not do what he says in verse 24, exert yourselves vigorously, will not be able to get in. That's step number one, exert ourselves vigorously through the narrow door. But then he describes a certain class of Christians in God's organization who would find themselves in this position. It says, when the householder has got up and locked the door, then you start to stand outside and knock at the door saying, Sir, open to us. And who would that refer to? Well, as far as closing the door, when is it shut down? The destruction of Babylon the Great, the door will be shut down. And then it says some of us will come and want to get into the Lord's organization then. And then we'll say, Sir, open to us. And Jesus will look out at us and he'll say, I don't even know you. But then we panic and we say, Well, we ate and drank in front of you and you taught us in our broad ways. What's that a desperation attempt to do? It's a desperation attempt to say to Jesus, Well, it's me. You remember me. I sat in front of you, and you taught us in your broad ways. Remember, I came to the Watchtower study once a week? And you remember when the circuit servant was there, I never missed? At every memorial, I came? What does he say then? I'm sorry, I don't know you. I don't recognize you. You didn't love the Lord's people enough to be there all the time. You didn't love my house enough to be there all the time. Now I try to come and show you love me. If you loved me, you would have been there. So I don't recognize you as one of my people. Get away from me. You had time to work righteousness. Now get away from me, you worker of lawlessness. You had your opportunity. Stand out there with the weeping and the gnashing of the teeth. Beat your chests. And wouldn't we? Wouldn't we at that time, if we were left outside, beat our chests in agony and gnash our teeth and weep and say, God, I was so close. What did I fool around for? Why didn't I do something with the truth when I had the opportunity? Why did I make all those excuses? Why did I try to fool Jehovah God? Well, now who will be there of us here tonight? Well, the Society has made application of this scripture in pointing out that those of us among Jehovah's Witnesses that are not regularly associating with his people without good cause, such as being flat on our back, will not be in the new order. And we're the ones that are going to come around when the doors close and say, I want in now. Sir, open to us. And Jesus will have to say, I'm sorry, I don't even recognize you. Now, wouldn't that be an awful thing? You see now why the society implores us year in and year out, the same old thing. Brothers, get in the flock. Don't let any excuses get in our way. Nothing of any nature. There's only one thing that's going to count when that time comes, and that's that we are inside. And we hope that all of us here tonight are going to listen to the society's imploring. We're going to listen to their agonizing entreaty, brothers, get in, because they know what's coming. And it's coming fast. And don't wait till 75. The door is going to be shut before then. So, what are we going to do now with our future? Why not be like the little piglet? You ever see a piglet born? It's quite an amazing thing. They come out from behind the mother's legs. They're blind, they can't see. They're still attached to their mother's umbilical cord. And somehow they've got to break free of that umbilical cord, come around the mother's legs, and find the milk. How do they do it? Well, watch them sometime. They tug and they pull and they scratch, they fall, they get up, and they jerk and they yank. They fall again, and they get up again, and they tug and pull some more, and pretty soon they break loose, and those little legs, they go around the mother's legs, and they come up and they find their reward, their milk. Now we can do the same. We're going to fall once in a while. We're going to slip. It's going to be hard pulling and hard tugging, but don't give in. Get up again on our feet and run. The goal is there, everlasting life. Serve with it in view. Do what Jesus Christ said, serve with everlasting view as long as Jehovah asks us. Jesus urged endurance on your part, and then he says, by enduring, you will acquire your souls. As one brother put it, stay alive to 75.